Hey guys. Well, for some reason I forgot to film an intro for this video, so here are some walk around shots of the completed project. 63 Continental, beautiful color, beautiful isotope wheels. We went ahead and did Choppin Block suspension, airlift 3H, and some other upgrades. So follow along and we'll go into some detail and show you what we did. Alright, so we're driving back from the alignment shop now and just putting some mileage on it so I can put it back on the rack one more time before it leaves. Double check all the nuts and bolts and everything, make sure we're all solid. With it going all the way back to Washington to the owner, I want to make sure there aren't any issues that I won't be there to help him with. But so far so good. Thing rides great. All the ride heights are all set and everything. We had to adjust idle a little bit, but I think he's at a different elevation than we are, so the carburetor just hopefully he can get it dialed back into his spec when he gets it back home. But yeah, just cruising down one of Oklahoma's finest roads, hitting all the potholes, and it's a good way to shake it down. I assume Washington State, where he is, has a better situation going. I hope so. But it's soaking it up. These big old Continentals and Cadillacs and stuff we've been doing lately, they just float over most of the bumps. My G8 feels like it's going to knock my teeth out when I hit one of them, but this thing's just rolling. Yeah, you can see this thing, super nice. Interior is almost perfect on it, and outside's no slouch either. But yeah, just enjoying a little bit of time with it before it leaves. It's my favorite part when the work's all done and we're ready to send it on down the road and get paid on it. So just heading back into the neighborhood now. There's some rattles in here, window seals and stuff like that. He's got a couple window switches that have failed, which is the norm on these Continentals, it seems like. There's a couple companies that make aftermarket switch conversions and stuff, so I think he got the car not too long ago, so he's got a laundry list of things that he plans to do to it, but wanted to start with the air ride and the wheels and all that. So yeah, almost back home. Get this thing parked and give it a once over, and then let the transport guy know we're ready for him. All right, here we go, and then we'll be on to the next project, which I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. It's a wild one. So here we go, pulling in. All right, under the hood, nothing too crazy going on. We installed new engine mounts and transmission mount and cleaned up a little bit of the wiring that was going on. He's already got a Pertronix ignition system in here and stuff. We did convert it to disc brake. Let me come around to the other side. You can see. So new booster, new master. The original hose was leaking vacuum. Made the engine run like crap, and couldn't get a good seal on the booster, so had no oomph. So I changed that to one I had here, just a silicone hose. He's probably going to want something that isn't bright red, but it's all I had, so that's what he gets. Over there we've got the circuit breaker for the air ride system, 4-gauge welding cable running all the way to the back to a 80 amp solenoid, so makes it nice and serviceable. Yeah, that's pretty much it under the hood. So let's move on to something more interesting. All right, I know we did this with the last Continental, but let's go over everything underneath just so you guys with Continentals kind of have an idea of how this Choppin Block suspension goes together, what's involved, where to put height sensors, all that stuff. So let's go over it real quick. So what we've got is Choppin Blocks what they call their stage 2 suspension kit. So it is a set of frame brackets that tie into the factory leaf spring hanger mounting points, upper and lower link bars, a set of axle brackets that have the upper and lower link bar mounts, and then a cross member that runs across the 2 frame brackets and ties everything together through the unibody structure. I know this isn't the best view. It's kind of difficult to sneak everything in there. So stage 1 is just that link kit that I showed you. Stage 2 adds a frame notch to the mix, which gets you an extra little bit of drop. The lower mounts are actually dropped down a little bit lower to get the extra travel to push it up into that notch. On this car, the customer sent us this Ford 9-inch axle from Mosier. So we also ran new e-brake lines, ran new brake hard lines, and had a new drive shaft made as well, because the yoke's shorter and in a slightly different position, uses a different U-joint. So one thing we ran into if you're shopping for a 9-inch is the Mosier kit comes with, and you can't really see, it came with a spout for filling the fluid, which would be super convenient if that didn't hit the floor before the thing dropped all the way down. So we had to cut that spout off and weld the hole up in the housing. Not a big deal, but something to keep note of if this is something you're looking at doing on your Continental. Other than that, system comes with new KYB shocks, so we put those in, routed all of his wiring and plumbing and everything up through there where there's no moving parts. As for height sensors in the rear, right where the frame side brackets kind of drop out of the way, we mounted the height sensors and then attached them to the lower link bars using Choppin Block's tube clamps. And as you can see, kind of see, here we go, I'll go where there isn't a glare. We had to offset the upper and lower bolts. None of this is under really any tension, so it's okay that we have this sort of, offset. It's not going to be a strength issue as long as it stays solid enough to, allow the sensor to move up and down with the suspension. Other than that, we did cut out the tunnel, patched it back in, and that's about it in the rear. Let me move up front and I'll show you what we got going on there too. Customer did supply a set of disc brakes from ABC, American Brake and Steering. Kit went right on, no big deal there. One note is, you can kind of see it there, this is the left wheel and that is the right caliper. The only thing that's important is making sure that the bleeder screw is at the top of the caliper. So whatever it takes, doesn't matter that they're not on the right sides. Other than that, Slam Specialties bags back here too, or up front here. And let's see if I can get up in there. There we go. Tucked the height sensor right up by the front structure support, and it comes down to the upper control arm. And again, we used a Choppin Block tubing clamp for mounting the sensor over there. Shock brackets are on. Wheels are back on. I'm not gonna show you my ugly face in the reflection of them, but trust me, they're on. Other than that, this thing is all done and ready to go. So I'm gonna get it off the rack, give it a quick wipe down, and get it ready for the transport guy to pick it up. And there's the trunk all finished up. So we've got all the carpet back in, everything's pretty well hidden. Easy to access the fuses for the airlift system. They're both under that carpet flap right there. So try to keep everything sort of a blend of cleanliness, but still accessibility for service, maintenance, whatever. So we've got airlift 3H, got a water trap. Both of the tanks have drains as well. So if he's got moisture in the air, does that happen in Washington? Is moisture a thing there? he'll be able to drain the system real easily and keep that moisture, that water out of the valves and the bags. So that's pretty much it. Still got a full trunk, usable space, still got a spare. I think I'm gonna put these brackets up for sale for other 61 through 63 Continental guys. I imagine they'd work on other stuff too, but they were like the perfect fit for this trunk. So yeah, let me back this thing out of the shop and we'll show you around it. Well, as usual, we're dealing with some wind out here in good old Oklahoma, and potentially some rain coming through, hopefully after the transport guy comes. So we got this all wiped down. Just wanted to walk around and show it to you a little bit. Love this body style. I think 65 Continentals are probably my favorite, but 61, 63, the smaller bodies, they're no slouch either. Look at that. Really good looking car. The wheel and tire combo is just perfect on it too. And of course, party piece on these things. That's just too cool. So as usual, we just brought the cable up from under the front seat. He can make a mount or move it around. There's tons of slack in that cable, so he can run it up into the dash if he wants to, but we want to give him that option. But other than that, the interior is just stock and clean. Well, I guess that's it for this one. Transport guy's about a half hour away. We're gonna get it loaded up and on its way back to Washington. Might have seen some little hints in the background. That one's almost next. We've got to pull Tony's 55 Cadillac in here real quick, finish up the rear suspension that we started a couple months ago. The parts came in that I designed for it, so we'll be documenting that as well. Mini truck, it's together enough to look like a vehicle, but I still got a lot more left to do before I feel safe showing you guys around it. But we'll get there on that. But yeah, that 60 Cadillac hearse will be coming in here right after the 55, and really looking forward to digging into that one. That one's gonna be there's gonna be some fun touches on that. So stay tuned. Thanks again for watching and liking and commenting and subscribing and ringing the bell and all that fun stuff. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again.